is gonna be torture for me. I hate speaking. I might not speak while I do this, but maybe actually. So I was gonna look at the weekly. I was gonna look at gold. I don't trade gold, but I was looking at gold and silver. I don't think it was clean how I've seen Brace or Trace do internal range of liquidity. We kind of like consolidated, expanded outside that consolidation. So we can definitely anticipate a return back into the range or to take this low up if possible. Or whatever. But as you can see, price on silver takes this high, out here. Okay. And then you see string switching on gold versus silver. Gold was once weaker, and now it's showing strength by. Although it did be kind of low while silver didn't. Notice how price closed with an actual C2 reversal count while silver didn't. So that was pretty clean. So I kind of want to check this out. So if we were to make the continuation higher to work from internal to external. Target this size here. Okay, it's not in my way, of course, and he's gonna want pets, and you know what I mean. Go over there, come on. Oh, I have too many fucking distractions, I swear. So last week, courtesy 2, we already know the narrative on this as well, why it's super clean. Alright, so if next week is going to make C3 continuation, expansion candle, obviously this candle should be respected, right? But let's refine the invalidation level down to the closest daily or 4 level to the new weekly candle open. That's where we will look for the universal model. It's kind of like the major liquidity here. Okay, so that's not really clean. Interesting. So we have SM2 this low. We actually have a 6H PSP here on Friday that Monday is opening up within that. It was like a GXT continuation sequence. So we can definitely anticipate the continuation higher on Monday to immediately reach for this high, I would say. Ideally. Obviously, that's automatic what I would have to assume. We should have made C2, so Monday should create C3 expansion to, I guess you could say, work from range low to range high, it really doesn't matter. But yeah. So tomorrow's going to make C3 continuation. Probably should respect this MSC, but let's refine the invalidation level down to the closest 4 level to the new daily can open, which would be the actual refined invalidation level. I'm kind of assuming that Monday low of the week will hold or beat. We'll see for this new week open or for this new week. So yeah, we have this CSD, so this would be the invalidation level, or the universal model for data. We made a sharp retracement into this range. This is all PA. further swings here as well. See what we can. So so we've seen really retraced down into this, not like the deep retracement, but we still credited age reversal, blending continuation. I really don't feel like looking for SMT, but so okay, well, that's great. This is different. Same for our kennels. There, so we can do for profile and off that with SMT. We can look for base speed as well. But nevertheless, the daily supports expansion bullshit. The 4 does as well. We have blending continuation. So as long as 16 respects the EQ this range where the refine and validation level on the 1 hour 30 minute, we can anticipate like internal to external essentially. All I'm trying to do really realistically is trade a 4 expansion kennel away from this key level during 6 AM. Or not, maybe not 6 AM, actually, let's see what 6 AM does. Because I'm pretty cool. Remember news as well, let me check. There isn't, okay. So I wouldn't trade 6 AM today, I wouldn't really care to. We have open targets still for 10 AM to reach, so we're kind of extremely bullish, but kind of consolidating as well, right? Pretty shippy, yeah, but assuming that we're going to create that expansion kennel during 10 AM, we should respect the EQ in this range, whether we find 1 hour 30 minute level. Let's see what we get. From the low day with the 1 hour 30 CC, which is that for our swing point. It's pretty shippy, but we traced into a gap, created a C2 during the this one driver and a 30 on gold, but so and then we created that continuation. Which we much 10 AM is opening up within this, so we can honestly realistically what we could do is just buy here, stop around here, target to our. There's nothing wrong with this. Assuming that 10 AM is going to create that GC continuation sequence, right? Just the 1 hour 30 minutes aligned with expansion. The refined validation level would be this CSD or EQ this range. If 10 AM doesn't respect this C2 and if it doesn't expand away from this, then we're going to consolidate or reverse and take this low, which means that if we're going to consolidate, we probably will have to take this low to go higher, right? Which means that 10 AM is going to create too large a wick, which means that won't support expansion away from the low day, which would be an invalidation result wise. So we quite literally have to respect the EQ of this range or expand away from the C2. This is a, if we don't, then that's an invalidation. And what else? So yeah, we got that GX continuation sequence, refined validation level on the 1 hour 30 minute. So yeah, 1 hour 30 minutes aligned with expansion, 4 is aligned with expansion. Unless 10 AM doesn't respect the invalidation levels. And then the daily is aligned with expansion, even though it's kind of a large wave. We can still expand our retreat size. At least you see here. I don't really care about that. These further swings should be taken. Okay. Let's see about here at the close here. Then you're targeting that. But we didn't retrace at all, which is crazy. Okay, so you would have retraced take profit at 12. So you could have done that. Interesting. Let's drop it on the 5 or 10 minutes though. We have the 1 hour, I guess, out of line with expansion, so let's just see the 5 minute. What do we got? So we got that C2 during that CSD, or that's CSD during that C2, which was 9 AM, right? So we're 10 AM C3. I want to see, let's actually put that on there. So I want to see 10 AM respect, pretty much EQ this range, so. Alright, we just open up and immediately expand away, which is not ideal. So, I would have to wait for a deep protected swing. Okay, that's, I hate when price does that. And it's probably gonna expand super far over. Oh, I know. So you can just take that right there. Assuming that we should just continue the expansion going into 11M. Stopped here. Once we validated this here. It's pretty soon. And when we validated this, you can either stop to break even pretty much or do the slow. Okay, you would have been taken out. So just, I hate gold. That's why I hate trading gold. I feel like the volatility is just so much worse than the indices, bro. Yeah, this is 12. Okay. So unless you, yeah, it was a valid entry though, but you could have taken that. What you could have done is taken it off of this, stop below the rejection block. Yeah, that's horrible. That's shit. Cool. What do we do after this? If I got my stop where it was at the slow, just held, press would have reached it eventually. So we have Monday creating the low of the week ideally, where we traded into internal range liquidity within this continuous short block. It's super highly, it has a high probability of expanding higher, especially since we left these flow swings, we can't really reverse away from these. But the universal model in the 4 hour would be internal to external. Asia reversal. There might be S&D with these candles, I really don't care with gold. Check real quick, this way. London continuation, 6 AM continuation, 10 AM continuation. Right, all we're doing is turning 4 expansion candles given by the hook size, right, defined by the hook size, away from the low of day towards the target level. So, and then at that point, what you do is just go down to 1 or 30 minute to find the higher or the low of these 4 candles. Right, like we have 2 AM open up here. So we already have a reversal prior to C2, C3, so GXTD, which sequence we can just immediately anticipate continuations, which since we have this high left open, we can target current day high as well. And then we have 6 AM open, we GXT reversal sequence, C2, so we can anticipate C3, to target current day high in case further swings. Or then we have 10 AM open, where we have that GXT continuation sequence. And that's when we would target this side, pretty much. We did kind of like reaccumulate, trace. This is the shape, yeah. Ideally, we should have just continued the expansion right away, or maybe create this C2 away from this gap, and then this candle should have created C3, not C2. But, I don't know. Anyways. Let's go to the indices. Usually just trade R2 or YM. Let me go to the weekly. I want to go far back. Go on here. So what do we do on YM is way cleaner, I'm not gonna lie. We it's just a steady price action in the past couple weeks. There was SMD here, I know there was, between YM and Q and all that. Well, yes. Because we never traded into the scalper. So we just have SMD fill. So you can just think of it like we traced into a key level, created that C2. But when price falls to expand away from that. We got that this is what creates that relevant swing. Do you like this low vessel? We did manipulate that low. It's a relevant swing. Which we did, but we had that SMD fill still. We held that SMD. So ideally we see some form of strength switching. I was hoping that there would be SMD here, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, especially for this to be C2 and then C3, target this side, internal to external, but nevertheless we expanded and created that protected swing. This is kind of like the new validation level inside bar. So nevertheless, we clear that C2 away from the skill level. Let's just focus on this week. Created, this week, took this week slow, but it also took this week slow, which is important because we're inside bar. So this is a consolidation. We have a defined range. If we're going to go higher away from the skill level, ideally we would put this low, which we did technically because of the SMD. So, and let's go to that PSV. So the first correct correlation between the SMD is the correct correlation between the PSV, which formed last week. And so next week, should create C3. Target this M head beyond it ideally. If next week's going to create the C3 expansion away from internal range liquidity to target external range liquidity, create that expansion candle away from the skill level. Ideally price respects discount week C. We can refine that validation level down to the daily for our key level and define the low of the week with the daily swing point, etc. So let's start on the daily. So let's just help get a clear daily bias, aligning the weekly candle with the daily. So yeah, this is ship here. So we were consolidating here originally. Let's actually look at this. We were inside one here. We further expand away from this swing point. So ideally we manipulate this loading higher. And start consolidating again. We're still stuck with the consolidation. Going into wait, is this? Oh, show it. Here we go. So let's check why we're daily. There's gotta be something. Yeah, this is like horrible PA, but we have a PSP, but we don't have SMD with a pre-kind of low, so we don't have like a new swing point. So when the daily is unclean like this, all you would simply do is just go down the fire and hopefully if you have to have a clean fire bias or model. But all you would do is simply align a daily or fire candle with expansion. So we got so we're just inside barn within this far kind of range. There is yet to be any key 1 error or 4 level reached from the low day or high day, right? So I can't trade this during 6 AM. I would have to wait for the driver to confirm the narrative. Again, the driver at 6 AM has yet to reach anything. On any asset. So this is probably, I would skip Monday, wait for Tuesday. Let's just go to the daily, see what we did. Get on the inside board. So this is very hard PA to trade. But yeah, I would have to wait for Tuesday to show a narrative. Ideally, we would put this low to go higher, though, but or we just expand higher and create this protect swing here, which is what we did. We left this high intact as well. So if that's interesting. So Tuesday took pretty low on RTY and closed partially well. YM did not take pretty low. Closed bullishly. So this is 6 stage PSP. So if I want to check this out with SMT3. So even though that Tuesday low of the week is where we got this predicted swing. RTY. C2 Tuesday away from that key level. Need to find the low of the week. So the universal model would be internal and external RTY to find the low of the week. But from the low of the week with Tuesday's swing point C2. But I want to see if there's SMT here. So like we took this high out a long time ago here. And then we just so if this SMT is gonna hold, daily weeks went away from this. Or then we return back up and take this high here. But we hold this SMT. This is automatically filler SMT. Unless we see some form of strong switching, right? To go lower. But since this asset here is just continuously fell into reverse away from all these feather swings, obviously, ideally we, after expansion, once we expand and we consolidate, that's a continuation to expand again, right? So ideally we continue expansion and break this SMT. But assuming Tuesday low week result what we're gonna do, and we have Tuesday technically creating that C2. YM is also showing strength switching to catch up and break this SMT. This is the ideal scenario. That's great. But yeah, so if Wednesday's gonna create C3 continuation, start under the 4 or whatever to refine the invalidation level. That's where we will look for the universal model to frame the higher low day for falling away from that. Ideally we head lower at first and not right up or higher right away. Okay, so we're opening up near this gap. Ideally we respect those. Because we don't. It's near EQ, the low is near EQ. If we don't respect this gap, then we're probably gonna take this low, which is pretty low. So dude, I can't fucking focus. Okay. So like I said, this is part of the invalidations that GXC saw where we reach a key level, create that swing point, we should expand away from the swing point. If we don't, like here, during swing L3, it's automatically we did consolidation, and ideally we manipulate the low, swing point low as a relevant swing to go higher. 2AM didn't really manipulate it, right, and create that C2, but maybe within the wick here on the fire, we created that reversal. Yep, we did. So we can all, that means that 6AM should immediately just expand away from this. No. Come on. Lay down, right there. Come on. Go over there. Okay, I'm about to fucking end this stream. But yeah, so let's start around with the, what do we do per the driver? Suppose that we know the daily sports expansion away from the key level, the small wig. For internal to external, and we know that London did manipulate this, just not on the 4, did on the winner, 30 minute within this week. So as long as 6 increase that small wick in the 4 sports expansion, then at that point all I'm doing is trying to just, then at that point it's the if then scenarios at that point, you know, I'm trying to align a 1 hour then weekend with expansion to trade the 4 hour expansion can all away from the skill level there at 6 AM to reach towards the target levels. Okay. So have another 4 or winner. What do we do for other? Okay. It was 8 AM news. CPI or PPI. Yeah, so what do I do for that? I don't trade that, but in this scenario though, I would have seen that price reach my draw liquidity for the day, and I would probably trade during 10 AM to see if do we show a continuation signature? I thought actually nah, I probably wouldn't because there's no target beyond this side. I just don't trade if there's no target, so. But prior to the driver on the 30 minute, what do we do? Alright, so we reached into the key level. We created that V-shaped formation away from it. New validation levels, read this gap. So we do AD. Okay. So within a key level, we're putting that C2 away from it prior to the driver, so driver continuation during A30, daily A30 should just expand away from this. Yeah. Or create that reversal away from this key level. Because if we don't, then we're going to be falling too manipulated by this one. Which means that this is probably not the low day. But, up here, so we're going to do low. The 4 candle during 6 AM, that's interesting. Okay. But the 6 AM candle did support expansion still. The daily support expansion. But yeah, I wouldn't have traded this. I'm curious though on, away from this key level. We'd rather confirm the reversal for the 5-30 minute CST. Yeah, there's no entry. Oh, okay, actually, there we go. So we reached the key level. And we created that C2 away from it at 6 AM. And the daily doesn't really support expansion bearish, so it's more reversal candle off pretty high away from this key level. So I just want to trade this bearish. I wouldn't care to. We could reach for this level for sure. And I would not expect that. But I guess that makes sense since we're falling in the middle of this level. If we're falling in the middle of this, where prices fall to create that swing point away from this relevant swing. During 6 AM, we can expect 10 AM to reach for the next relevant swing. But still, the wick size didn't really support it. I mean, the daily, just check that out. It's kind of large. I mean, I guess it's not too bad. I'd be pretty low as well. I don't know, that's his ass, so I guess you could view it as range high. Forget about this. It's range low. Then we have this internal manipulation, or failure to manipulate this relevant swing here. Manipulation away from this key level. So I can just be 10 AM continuation. So we got. So 10 AM is going to make the C3 expansion candle away from this key level. Then let's drop down to the monitor to find the validation level. See if 10 AM is opening up with any JXC continuation sequence. C3 reversal, ideally C3 reversal, because we created that CST. Even though this slope open as well. So the name is opening up with that GXC continuation sequence. Ideally, we respect EQ this range or the CST. The name should just open up. We open high, respect this, great C3 continuation to reach for the target levels. Because if we don't, if we fail to expand away from the same point, like I said beforehand, or a long time ago. Oh my god, I can't fucking speak. I'm just so tired. Then at that point, price will create too large of a wick. Simple as that. So simply start on the power through for the entry. Simply, I mean, we can. That's the CC, and this is like protect this one. This is so low in the range. Like I'll be risking so much. Not worth it. Here maybe. Yeah, not worth it. How do I? I think I'm open up here. Check this out real quick. Okay, so we're still respecting the validation levels. It's not like how. This is so fucking shippy. But we could have some tea here, I think. Took this eye out here. Create a 2-stage SMT. Here. Whatever. It's pretty weird, but nevertheless, we created the continuation tree. This should protect the higher of the 10 kennel, so now the entry is valid. The 1 hour 30 minute is aligned with expansion. The 4 hour is aligned with expansion. The daily is aligned with expansion. Right. So you can trade this. This is pretty shippy though. Marked line, but entry there, stop right there, whatever. Trade that to her. Simple as that. Alright, let's move on. Really pick the worst days to trade or backtest. It's just how it is. So, yeah, it's crazy how Wednesdays fell into expand away from the swing points. After taking this high as well. It's just horrible. So, which is crazy if you think about it. We broke that SMT, so that doesn't really matter, but we created SMT with this high here. So we definitely, it's PSP as well, 6 days PSP. Since we broke this SMT as well, this is pretty clean to anticipate. Was that other week also? If we can target these further swings here, maybe. This is what I would look for, but things can change with the time, so ideally tomorrow we see the continuation. Let's start for that for you. So what is the closest 104 level that today is opening up near, which will be the new invalidation level for the universal model. Give me this gap here. Deeply respect that. Get that small wig, expand away from it. Of course not. So, alright, so this. This is the pretty range. This is the T spot. I want to invalidation level on the winner for below that level, within the lower half of the pretty range to support price lower. I like how we opened up immediately into that key level as well. Daily confirmation supports the bearish candle. But daily supports expansion, but the 4 doesn't yet. We're not aligned with expansion yet. So daily. Since London filled the middle plate, ideally 6-day reverses off a pre-candle line to go lower. Here's what we do. If we don't, then the daily won't support expansion bearishly. As you can see, we don't. So that's just like, this is hard PA to trade, then I'm not gonna lie. I can't really anticipate this, but Let's go down to the 1 hour 30 minutes to see what we did. I'm curious. Automatically low. Since we're looking to frame the reversal off of London high at 6 AM, this would be a GXT reversal sequence, so I'd have to frame the high of the 6 AM candle with a 1 hour 30 minute swing point. Like, this is crazy, bro. This is crazy. I mean, yeah. Like, I don't care about SMT with these lows. These are SMT with filler swings. It's normal. Alright, so I guess what you can do is, you can say, clear this SMT, you know, clear this really high, clear the SMT. We did displace away from it, but then, I mean, we did displace away from it, consolidated, so this is kind of like a continuation actually. I don't know. But then you gotta think, like, RTY is creating this SMT here. But we're just consolidating some. So SMT followed by consolidation is you just fill your SMT. So I guess that's a sign of you gotta notice those things. But that's interesting. So there was some signs that this was fill your SMT. Remember that today shouldn't be bare, verbal, whatever. Let me. So let's start another 1 hour 30 minute. What do we do per the river? Sorry, DM use. Okay. This would confirm everything. Per the river. This is CPI, right? Yeah, so, today opened up here. And notice how we're kind of like consolidating within this range. Following the middle plate, this relevant swing. Again, we're following the middle plate, we're just pushing through this CB, this CB, putting the reversal away from it, I guess you could say part of the driver, and the driver, you know, felt the reversal away. The driver feels reverse, that's the validation towards the bearish bias. We're gonna reach for these sides here, break this SMT. So what would be the trigger for expansion? For RTY to catch up? Be string switching. Which we actually don't. We keep showing strength on this is crazy, that's so shit. But we're showing more strength on YM, so it's still a lean asset. So if 8:30 manipulates, then 9:30 should continue. This will be a two-stage over. 9:30 should continue to reach for this. Yep. Which means we should respect this range EQ. Quit that small wig. Let's drop it in the room though. Let's driver continuation, I have to enter off of the ECC. Okay, well. Let's driver reversal. If you think about it. Prior to the driver. Get that SMT here. I'm just gonna do this though. And then we create that CST here. So ideally, we're within a key level. So it would be driver reversal, since we didn't reverse away from this key level prior to the river. So therefore I can trade this if I get a 5 or 3 minute CST, drive the driver, pretty much. I know the daily, right, the daily supports expansion with that small wick. The 4 hour supports expansion. Well, actually it doesn't. Fuck. Yeah, I want to try this. It's just too large. Reach way beyond. Give that range. No, I just want to trade it. But say if the 4 hour candle did support expansion, the wick size, then what do we do prior to the driver? Within a key level. So the driver should just reverse away from this key level, simply. Let's confirm the reversal with a 5 or 3 minute CST. Okay. I feel so brain dead right now. Let's do 3 minute. So we're doing 9 AM. 30. can wait for a slight retrace. There's no point doing that in the driver. Yeah. So, if the 4-hour candle did support expansion, I would have definitely taken this. But it didn't, so. Alright, so what do we do for titanium? As you can see, we created that so we put away from the skill level through the driver. So per titanium. Right, we know that we have SMT with slow here. For one frame ranges, range low to range high. Right. Problem with this is we have reached the draw liquidity for titanium. We've already expanded super fucking far. The daily opening, we've already created the daily counter pretty much prior to titanium, so this will just be a skip take because titanium can easily just in sidebar. Or especially after this large expansion, we can just consolidate or trace. But it's just not worth it. There's no target to reach. So. Okay, that 6 AM candle wick size wasn't actually insanely large. It was actually fun. It was small enough to trade. I was overthinking that. So I would have definitely taken that trade in the driver. But PA is so fucking ass. I like how we expanded outside of this consolidation finally. Just Thursday, so we did on Friday. So ideally we continue the expansion. So, money low weekend. Staying here, it's just yeah. Let me check what our NQ. Yes. So still a 6 HP speed, so I'm trying to count that. We took that on. Yeah. Shot. So, if Friday's gonna make the continuation, ideally price respects EQ, the pretty range. Would be C4 at that point. We'll jump out of the 4 to find the validation level. That universal model. We got this internal to external. That reaches the key level. Falls to reverse. So ideally 16 reverses off a pretty good level. We actually have SMD or no. Okay. So, jumping to the winner, we know the daily's first expansion. Now I gotta confirm the wick size of the 6 AM candle with a 1/3 minute CSD, or swing point. Which would be the GXC reverse sequence away from this key level. We have news at 10. Part of the driver we're consolidating in this key level. So when we reach the key level, create that swing point, we fail to expand away. I don't believe it has consolidation, so ideally we manipulate range low. go higher. Get the driver. Okay, do. We even create that PSP, sound second stage PSP. Maybe there's a P with NQ. Yes, there is. Second stage PSP. So, great. Going back to the foyer, we have the daily sports expansion bullshit, where price reached down into internal range of liquidity, skew for our level, created 6 AM manipulation away from it during the driver as well, which is clean to see. So this 6 AM for our candle, C2 defines the low day, defines the low size, right? It's now already doing its turning for expansion candles away from the key level towards the target level, which would be this side. Also like how today opened up a lot for swings and then traded immediately lower into this key level. That's clean. And then so the universal model would be internal external, where the 4 profile would be 6 AM manipulation or 930 manipulation, 10 AM continuation, right? Simple, same thing. So let's start from the 1 after to refine the validation level, GXC sequences, whatever, etc. 10 AM is opening up within a GXC continuation sequence. Also, we create the CSC. That would be the new refined validation level, where you queue this range. Team has to respect that to create that small wick. If we're going to create that for expansion away from the skill level, simple as that. So, I guess we'll just drop down to the 5 with a minute. Let's look for that entry. Since we're from the low day pretty much, still. I have to look for that continuation entry during 10 AM. So at this point we're failing to respect EQ of the pre-30-minute 1 hour candle. Now 10 AM is getting a pretty large wick, unless we were sorry now. Yeah, no, we took the pre-candle, which means we took pre-6 AM candle. So the 10 AM just doesn't work as much anymore. Bullshit. Away from the kill level. So therefore we're no longer trading a 4 expansion candle away from the kill level, so that's an invalidation. And we just skipped it out. It was not trade. But I'm not surprised that price wanted to kind of like retrace on Friday after doing what I did here, expanding outside this consolidation. Thursday creating that large range day outside of it. Looks like I think he did something else. Oh yeah, okay. Interesting. I don't trade in Curious anymore, but let's check this out. So we took this high out, so we can definitely see some form of a new phase of price level, like a retracement from external to internal. And today should do internal to external. We see price retrace into that key level. Middle bit away during Asia. Create that protected swing. Did you respect that? Doesn't matter. Alright. We create 6 AM manipulation away from that key level. Or no, 2 AM manipulation. Okay. So I need the 6 AM expands away from this. Let's check yes. YM failed to kind of see some form of restriction on NQ, which this is SMT here. It's like fully SMT though, clearly. So as you can see, created SMT with this high a long time ago. Finally catching up. We're showing swing switching during 2 AM because 2 AM closed with the Rosa candle on NQ, while it closed with the continuation bearish candle on YM. Yes. Yeah. So that indicates clearly the lead asset. So London manipulation, 6 AM continuation, 10 AM continuation. The universal model would be internal, external. The low day is confirmed with London C2. It's not really mystery for expansion comes away from the key level here towards the third level. Simple as that. So what do we do further over? Interesting. Do we create that reversal prior? I was hoping we were going to create this close I can hear it further over. But it doesn't really matter because we're so close to this target level. I was going to say you could buy off this. Stop below there maybe. We validated that V shape or the CC on the 1 hour 30 minute away from the key 1 hour 4 level. So the low days was during London manipulation, of course. Within this candle 2. Here. During the C2, we created that V shape formation away from the key 104 level. So we confirmed the low day with A4 swing point away from the key 104 level, but ideally within that swing point we have a 1 hour 30 minute CC, right? And then 16 opened up, and per the driver during 8:30 we reached into the key level, created that C2 swing point away from the key level that we want. But part of the driver, we fell to reverse. So I can actually trade this on the 5 minute. I hate when the driver is so close to the draw liquidity though. But so ideally we confirm the reversal with the 5 minute CC during the driver. Shy of it, left it open. Okay. Well, that's fine. There was no entry in the driver. I'm not surprised that we took this swing point low, because if you think about it, if we reach into a key level, create a swing point, and fail to expand away from that swing point immediately afterwards, it's going to view it as consolidation, and so ideally we motivate swing point low as a relevant swing to go higher, like it's every day. So we did that during the driver as well. Driver created that C2 per the 10 AM open, so 10 AM was opening up within that GXC continuation sequence, so 10 AM, 1 hour 30 minute Islamic expansion. The 4 hour Islamic expansion, obviously. That continuation thing. We have London manipulation, 6 AM continuation, 10 AM continuation. So, then daily is force expansion. Just put that T spot. Alright. So, 10 AM literally has to expand away from the C2. So let's drop down to the, what we can even do is drop down the 5 minute. And I can grab the 1 hour candle, let's say, or yeah, whatever. And we can just be like, okay, so this is the T spot, this can we see. What's the closest 1 hour or 5 minute CC, or I mean kilo woman, within the upper half of this range. And ideally, it'd be like this gap here. So ideally we form the low of the 10 AM candle off of the. Create the CSC here, but I'm trying to count this. And since we're within intraday continuation, within the continuation of the daily candle, the low day has confirmed a long time ago during London. We're just running for our continuation expansion candles away from that. can just simply trade or take this for CC as an entry. Problem with this is I would have to put my stop like right here, target 2 or like that. I would never take this because my take profit's super, it's like far above the target level, so you never know if price is going to reach the ski level and just really reverse away from it, or maybe reach it and then consolidate, and then maybe later on it does continue the expansion, or maybe it reverses around that, but we don't know if it's going to continue the expansion or, oh shit, okay, or it does up. But, okay, hold on. So 9 AM. Actually, let's do 130. C2, C3. So, we're sort of working this slow. Okay, I need to protect this one. So, that's another valid entry. So yeah, like if you took this, if your stop wasn't below this low, you would have been stopped out. Now you can buy off of this, same thing. Wait, if you saw here, so the R is S, so I'm gonna trade this. Do you expand beyond it though? I just, maybe someday I'll trade that, or I'll change that mentality, but just lower probability. Unless I were to take this, sometimes I do it where I take it. I'm gonna stop here, say, target 2R, and then once price reaches the ski level, I just put my stop at break-even. I just wait for price to reach my take profit, which would have worked today, but like 8 times out of 10 it doesn't really do that, but I wanna see is it NQ, okay. Let's leave this low. Create the CSD here first. Actually created a nice gap. This one as well, I guess. It's not as big. Bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. Yeah. We're just continuously showing leadership on NQ, which we've already defined that. We've already did that in 30 minutes. We've already determined that NQ is the leading asset on the like for or whatever. Right here. Where's it? This is okay. If you think about we took this high out here, this is interesting. But we know that this is not prominent SMT automatically because we still have this high left open here. Well, what really confirms that is 930 fell into expand away from it. It's kind of just like, so that's automatically it is for SMT. So I can anticipate. He has to show swing switching to catch up. So we created the SMT technically here. A long time ago here. Let me see the string switching on ES to catch up. T2, so you could trade ES to catch up as well. Well, that's irrelevant. Right. Daily's first expansion. The forest first expansion. Titanium continuation. Right. The one of them titanium is opening up within the GXC continuation sequence. So one of them is allowing expansion. So simply all you can do, all you need to do is trade the fucking 3-minute model or whatever. Anticipating titanium C3 continuation. Ideally, you can take your entry off of this if you really wanted to. Or you can take it off of this. But then we see some form of string switch in here between NQ and the 3 minute. Because of this. So NQ is still showing leadership. But so it would have been a little bit scary if you took that, you would have been subbed out. But the first CSC was valid because we're within intraday continuation, right? So then you would have seen price. Intraday profit. Here. Should be, yeah, but still, it would have worked out. So that would have been 6, or I would say, yeah, a bit more, it was more line manipulation, I think. Yeah, or no, yeah, line manipulation. That was the string switch on NQ on the 4. But line manipulation away from internal range liquidity for 6 a.m. expansion candle away, 10 a.m. expansion candle away and away to reach from internal to external, and then 6 a.m. Drive reversal. I don't know if I gave an entry, honestly. I did. We're going into 10 a.m. I did. So yeah, you would have traded 10 a.m. continuation. It was valid. So obviously we've already done that. Right, 10 a.m. is going to continue. Right, we put in the reversal part of the driver, or 10 a.m. Driver should 10 a.m. should respect keep this range symbols up. Create that C3 continuation. It was pretty shitty, but it did. Expand and continue to reach for the side anyway. But, yeah. So GC continuation sequence. I'm gonna take a break real quick. I don't ever stream this final stream. I can't fucking. I rush shit. I can't think properly. I can't slow down. Being stupid. So I could. I'm gonna start doing this every day. I've seen someone do this where he was streaming his just while he worked, he streamed. And you fucking did it for like 11 hours straight, and I was like, that's hella motivating. I'm gonna start doing that. Plus it would add videos to my channel. That, I mean, it would be up on my channel forever, so I could look back on it whenever. It would be a good journal. So I think it's obviously I'm not doing it for the views, but it's more of just I don't know. Baby, I'm trying to build a community. I really don't know. Obviously, I'm not interesting enough to do that, but yeah, I don't know. But I still think it's smart for journaling and all that. I don't know. But there's more to it. Yeah, this week was definitely an interesting week. Definitely hard to trade though during time Vito's house. But let's go into next week. Let me take a fucking break. Actually, let me take a different break. need to stop confusing myself. Let me just stick to RTY and YM. Let's do YM on this one, RTY on this one. Okay, so next week, what do we do? Wait, am I on a different? Okay, so we're clearly extremely bullish on RTY. Created C2 last week. We definitely work from external to internal, or work from range high, range low. Doesn't really matter. Target pre-weekly. I don't know. YM doesn't really support that. But yeah. So simply we have a PSP. Last week created a continuation. C3 continuation and a continuation roller. So I mean, realistically, I would prefer continuation higher next week, but there's really nothing to target besides pre-week high. So daily next week makes C4 continuation. Let's go down to the daily. That's what we got. With the ship PA though. So ideally, yeah, I don't know. Let's just see what we do. Friday, inside board. So already the bias is pretty bad, not clear on the daily. So ideally, Monday I would say reverses off a pretty low to go higher. Take this high, and then maybe ideally we don't chop around and maybe return back in the range. Ideally we you know, maybe create Monday C2, Tuesday C3, and we just fail to middle plate this high. I don't know, really, it depends on what we do on Monday. I don't know, I really don't know, honestly, because Monday could do in the sidebar still within this account's range, stay within consolidation. I really don't know, but when price is unclean like this, I just align the daily with expansion, jump into the floor, look for the universal model, align it for Arcana with expansion, and just, yeah. So this right now looks like it would be internal to external. Internal to external range liquidity. So we do go into time. Okay. So far, daily count supports that. So if, I like how today is reversing off of pre-day low. Right, we're getting that C2 reversal into expansion candle, confirming the wick size of this daily candle with a 4-hour swing point during 2 a.m. So the model would be, I would still say internal to external. So the drawn liquidity would be this higher, obviously. So the daily supports expansion, bullshit. Confirming the low that day with a 4-hour swing point. And now all we're doing is trading for expansion candles away from scale level, away from the low day, towards the drawn liquidity, target level. And we're going to create that for expansion candle during 6 a.m. Price must respect EQ this range, or the invalidation levels closest to the 4-hour 6 a.m. candle open on the 1 hour and 30 minute. So the daily supports expansion, the 4-hour is technically aligned with expansion. Doesn't support expansion yet. We gotta confirm the wick size of the 6 a.m. candle with a 1 hour or 30 minute support. But simply, what do we do per indicator? check something real quick before it should check out 6 a.m. Do we have SMT? Or do I? Or do I show strength? But let's see if we show any strength switching on the 1 hour or 30 minute. It's kind of hard to tell. Let's go down the maybe 50 minute. Skittles bears. It's hard to say. I don't know. That's why I don't like looking at SMD shit. Alright, so just go to 6 a.m. So if you think about it, for wanting to see the 6 a.m. part cannot be an expansion kennel, I have to define the low of the 6 a.m. kennel with a 1 hour 30 minute swing point away from a kilo, which there's really nothing on the 1 hour or 30 minute. So at that point, I would just use EQ this range. So I want to see the wick form within the upper half of this range. So from the wick with a 1 hour 30 minute swing point, we have this C2. And then C3, where the C3 created a predicted swing. So this should be the low of the 6 a.m. kennel. And we did all of this prior to 9 a.m. And I like how we have this high left open as well here. Can expand through that, reach for this high. Obviously the median liquidity is this high here. So ideally we should just expand through all of this to reach for this, but but now, for our kind of sports expansion, the daily sports expansion. And now the driver. The driver is, we put in the Russell part of the driver at C2, C3, 9 a.m. is created in C4. We also created the CSD. So my rules say that if driver continuation, meaning if we put in the Russell part of the driver on the 1 hour 30 minute, I have to enter off of a 1 hour or 30 minute CSD. In this scenario, I would be able to. Stop would be below here. They'd probably be right here. Do we have any news though? I'm kind of curious. Do we have any? Hold on, I'll check this. You could also take it. I could also take this here, but I would rather take the Richards. But there is no news today, so simply I'll just look for the Richards and I'll get myself out. So we got just a weird PA after this week at 4 a.m. very random time. We did this at 9 a.m. So actually, if I would have seen this here live, I would have seen 9 a.m. create the reversal per the driver, or we did this, invalidating that 1 hour CSD, literally, or prior to the driver at 9:30. So at this point, I would have to trust that price is going to manipulate this low as a relevant swing during the driver. So I would be looking for a driver reversal. Which means I would look for a, I can't reverse away from these fallacies as well. So this is like, still bullish. So I would confirm the reversal during the driver with a 5 or 3 minute CSD. The daily 4 is still sports expansion. Just the 1 hour 3 minute is not a line of expansion. The USD price. Where's the 6 a.m. open? just creating too large of a wick. With the 4 hour. So, yeah, it's pretty large of a wick. Prices just fell into reverse during the driver. Alright, we should have reversed here. We just created a new lower low. So driver is fell into reverse, therefore that is an invalidation. So I'll just wait for a 10 AM. Let's go back to the 4. Does the daily support expansion away from the key level? Yes, it does. Does the 4? Well, we kind of been sideboard, but it is more of a reversal bullishly. On RTY, what do we got? We got a C2, we made SMT with pretty kind of low. Ooh, look at that second stage PSP or SMT. So, with SMT here on RTY, we created string switching in the form of a second stage PSP or SMT. So, line manipulation, then 10 AM should continue. Right? So let's drop down to the still internal to external. So now I'm just trying to capitalize on the 10 AM 4 expansion canal away from the skill level towards the target level for C3 continuation. Right. So 10 AM is going to create the continuation. Issue respect discount C. Let's refine that invalidation level down to the closest 1 hour limited key level to the new 10 AM 4 hour can open. That's the lowest taken. So, as we can see, 9 AM during the driver, manipulate him, created that C2. So although there's no like clear obvious reversal on the 4 hour, right? It's not like I mean we have the SMT, I guess. There is one. There is a clear reversal in the 1 hour. 30 minute. 10 AM is opening it up within that reversal. So it's a GXC continuation sequence. And if 10 AM doesn't respect the C2 and doesn't create C3, then that'll be an invalidation to result wise, because at that point 10 AM is probably going to create too large of a wick. You know, we want to expand away from this. We don't want to consolidate. So, yeah. So let's. So the 1 hour limit is aligned with expansion. The 4 hour supports that expansion. The daily supports the expansion. So 10 AM should create C3 continuation. So we're on to the 5 of the minute. Let's do the 1 hour 5 minute model. Yes, okay. I would not buy off that. So we got that CSC. During that C2 within the 9 AM candle, right? This candle here, this range. This is ideal. This is what you would want to see within a C2 candle. You want to see that V-shape formation, right? And now, since this is technically framed the low day, and it's still, I gotta wait for 10 AM to create that continuation entry. Unless we just don't respect the invalidation law. Ooh, that's a large wick. So, do you create that continuation entry? Problem with this is, if you check the 4 hour out, price reach beyond discount C, which the refined valuation level is that discount C on the winner. It's a pretty large wick during 10 AM. It's no longer, we're no longer trading a 4 hour expansion canal away from the key level, which is what we want to do. So this is kind of an invalidation, but. And now we're trading away from feather swings. So I probably wouldn't take this. It's just lower probability. It's not the clean PA. It's not worth trading. You might as well just wait for a new day. But you could take this, and also the range that you're buying into here is the CST. I think the CST this was. Okay. So actually the entry would be right here. So you could take that, you know, for 2 hours and you might have reached it, but it's just lower probability. I don't know. It's good to be picky with the trades. So, but I want to see if we continue the expansion or not, or if we just consolidate, or worse, because the D4 account doesn't support expansion bullishly. So I'm not surprised that we reverse lower. Something you can expect. I'm not surprised that we attack these closings. I'm following to respect the bias, which we did that a long time ago before. We did that, yeah, I don't know. We did that here, like by creating that large wick, failing to respect the invalidation level being EQ that range during the 10 AM 30-minute candle. That pretty much automatically disrespected the bias because now we're trading for our reversal candle pretty much. And so, yeah, that was kind of like a hint that price might not continue the expansion and we could easily reverse lower and we more support bearishness than we do bullishness because of the wick size. So, yeah. Interesting day. So during the driver, I'm actually curious. Was there a trade? Honestly, I forgot. My memory's so fucking bad. The wick size didn't support expansion bullshit, but it was the 9 AM putting that reversal, and then driver should reverse away from this level. But assuming that we created that large opposing run below the 6 AM candle, you can't trade this. Never trade it. So both the 6 AM candle and 10 AM candle didn't support expansion bullishly. Okay, so we have Monday creating that C2. We created that C2 on Monday, so we can definitely see Monday low of the week to work from kind of like internal to external. So if Monday's gonna respect discount we see, or discount, what the fuck am I saying? We're gonna respect, oh yeah, I guess it would be. Or I would say more EQ this range, or respect Monday's C2 and create C3 expansion. Then price will respect the closest 4 or 1 hour level to the new day they can open. In this case, there's really nothing. I'd rather see price actually take pre-day low to go higher to create that water pair in ranges model. Oh, we gap higher. That's interesting. Observe, use. It's gonna be a holiday. I don't know if I should work this day, but we definitely have SMT with this range high, so if you think about it, RTY is creating SP with range high while we're at a discount of the range, so this is advanced premium to discount. And today opened up to range high. So what are premium ranges? Model. Loaded manipulation to reach for a range low. Oops, high I just opened up Ninja Trader. Are you fuck? Oh, shit. Okay. So yeah, the universal model would be arbitrary ranges, one and manipulation away from that, which defines the high day. The way it says. The daily supports expansion bearishly. Don't like these fly swings, but for supports expansion bearishly. So simply let me drop down to the whenever. I'm doing this training for expansion away from this kill here. Reach for this level. Daily retreat one. Put that 2 stage SMT, large range SMT covered by small range SMT. What do we do per the river? Okay. Realistically, I can just target EQ this range or whatever. The model would be, I would say it's more external to internal on my end. So, part of the driver we create SMT. Let me see. Yeah, it's not clean. On the winner, let's do this way. Right now. That's how we do. So we can count this as C2 reversal per driver, but I can't really hear this because we're not opening up near a CST in the 1 hour 30 minute to enter off of. So I would just wait for the driver to from the narrative. Okay. That's interesting. Now we're showing string switching. Do SMT. But the problem is that the driver wishes to fucking draw liquidity. Prior to 10 AM. If we were to trade like R2Y, we'd have seen that yeah we have SMT this high. C2 away from skill open the CC here. All prior to the arsenal. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that CC further. Actually yeah, that's crazy, okay. So yeah. I could technically take this. On R2Y actually provided an entry. So although YM didn't provide an entry because driver continuation, we were not opening up near a clear set of opposing candles on the map limit. R2Y, although it's not the leading asset, it's the weaker, stronger asset, it's not the leading asset. Price did create the CSD per the driver, C2, but we could have that C2 and then we could have that CC, so we could easily take this C2 high and then continue the exponential lower, join the driver. But I could take this retrace up into here, join the driver, post up here, target that 2 right. So if I was quick enough when I seen this was a valid entry because let's see, didn't work this up. Daily support expansion. I also like how we opened lower left failure zones and then treated our reached that key level with SMD here. Created that second stage SMD, but so the reaching to that key level being universal model, right, or being order pair ranges. And then we created, I think it was line manipulation. Right, it was line manipulation C2. And then 6 AM opened and created that 1 out of the MCST. So now the hive day is protecting the 1 out of the MCST prior to the driver. So what do we do prior to the driver? Well, we know the daily force works expansion partially. We know that prior to the driver, create the reversal. So the driver continuation. So the 1 out of the is aligned with expansion, the 4 is aligned with expansion, the daily is aligned with expansion. Yeah, and we're to treat this 6 AM for expansion kind of away from this SMD towards the target level. And since Bryce is actually providing an entry during the driver for driver continuation on RQI, this would be the SL trade. Although it's not the lead SL, it's the stronger SL. It's still valid. Now would I reach my take profile? First backtesting live stream. This was a pretty shit, but I'm gonna try doing this every day.